Hi. Have you ever looked through old photos and realized you were really good at documenting everyone else's life, but not your own? That's exactly where I found myself at the beginning of this year. I've been scrapbooking for over 30 years. I've created albums for my children, my family, vacations, holidays, milestones, and all of life's big moments. But as I looked through my albums, I realized there were so many stories about me that had never been told. Not because they weren't important, but because I never thought they were important enough. That's when I decided that 2026 would be different. Instead of waiting for the big milestones, I wanted to document the everyday moments that make up a life. The people who shaped me, the places I love, the lessons I've learned, and the memories that make me who I am. And that's how the This Is My Story Challenge was born. Hi friends, I'm Cindy Jackson, also known as the Scrapbook Cowgirl. I live in Stephenville, Texas, and I've spent more than 25 years helping people preserve their memories through scrapbooking. This year, I invited my customers, my team members, and friends to join me on a year-long journey called This Is My Story. The idea is simple. Your story matters. Not just the big moments, not just the birthdays and vacations, not just the stories everyone already knows. Your everyday life matters. The little things, your favorite traditions, the people who shaped you, the places that feel like home, the memories that make you smile, the challenges you've overcome, and the person that you're still becoming. Because someday those ordinary stories will become the stories your family treasures most. Each week, we've explored a different prompt and created layouts that tell the story of who we are, where we've been, and what matters most to us. Today, I thought I'd share some of the layouts I've created so far this year and talk a little bit about the stories behind them. Let me turn my camera around so you can see my desk and let me show you. All right, I'm so excited to share these pages with you from my This Is My Story album. So this is the title page to my album. Just picked a favorite photo in my Charlie Windhorse hat. I think we were at Lukenbach there. So this paper is Stampin' Up's Wildflower Birthday, and you can see it's got the gold foiling detail. So I cut my title on the Cricut. It's backed on white cardstock and gold foil on the top. So I tried to pick up and coordinate with those gold foil accents. Hope you can see that, what's picking up. So yep, that's the title page, such a fun one. So pink is my favorite color. So had to start off with pink. The next layout, the prompt was, "This is me." Hello, this is me right now is what the actual prompt was. And so this is close to my heart, memory lane, if I remember correctly. So more pink, right? So just talked about the things going on in my life right now. And some of these pages have lots of flip-flaps, so they're already attached. So my story is in there. And so I just picked some fun pictures in my scrapbook room. And I became a grandma for the first time in November. So I'm a Mimi. This is my grandson, Archer. So the things happening in my life right now. So love how that one came out. And this title is from Simple Stories. I think it was called My Story, and I had to have it just for that title. I also used it on one more layout, I think. All right, so hope you like that one. All right, next up, our prompt was our 2026 word of the year. So I picked adventure for my word of the year this year. And so this paper is the Stampin' Up! Marbled Elegance. And so I had a lot of fun with this layout. This is one of my favorite sketches that I've created. And so this I just created in Canva with my word of the year. And again, just with some of the things I wanted to accomplish this year. And then picked a quote: "Your life is your story. Write well edit often, and fill the pages with adventure. So that's my word of the year. I'd love to know if you pick a word of the year each year. I've done that for quite a few years. And so have a lot of fun with that. So far I've had several fun adventures this year. Been to Alaska most recently, went to the Caribbean, to the ABC Islands. So had some fun adventures. So I would love to know what your word of the year is. This next layout, one of my favorites. So currently loving. So it's like a currently page, all the things that are going on in your life right now. And so this is the Close to My Heart Craft On collections, which was one of my very favorites from Close to My Heart. And if you don't know, I was a consultant or maker with Close to My Heart for almost 26 years before coming over to Stampin' Up! When Close to My Heart closed in 2024. So my currently scrapbooking, planning, reading, feeling, drinking, eating, listening to, loving, and watching. So just did some of those fun currently things. It was fun to journal this page. This is my son and my daughter-in-law and our new grandson there. So baby Archer. So that was a fun one to create, a fun grid layout. So I hope you like that. So did you love this collection from Close to My Heart? Craft On, I still have tons of it. I hoarded it. All right, next up the prompt was My Happy Place. So this is the one that I was telling you that was the contraband, the simple stories. It's called My Story. So I cut my title on the Cricut, My Happy Place, and then journaled about my scrapbook room being my happy place. And so I loved this collection. So it had the pink craft cart, and if you can see right here in the picture, there's another one of the craft cart. I have one just like it right there. All right, so next up, my favorite things. So this was a cut above collection from Close to My Heart. And so I just put some of my favorite things, my new car, traveling, scrapbooking, of course, fresh flowers. I love having fresh flowers on my desk, a good bottle of wine, good coffee in a large mug, and then my perfume, ice cream. So those are some fun favorite things. So I sure miss the cut above layouts from Close to My Heart. How about you? The next layout, the prompt was My Love Story. So this one, I'm sorry about the glare on those that have flip flaps. So my story is there. But this is a love story, and it was with the Close to My Heart Smitten collection. So I just picked some favorite photos of my husband and I throughout our relationship. We just celebrated 10 years of marriage in April. And so these are some of my favorite photos of us. I used an embossing folder with the hearts on it for the letters. Love these big alphas from Stampin' Up! So this is a favorite as well. The next one is People I Love. So this one is a Stampin' Up! Collection. And this is the Stampin' Up! Love Story. So these are the people in my life. So my grandbaby, of course. It's my daughter-in-law, my son, and Archer. My oldest son, Coulter, my husband. Another one with my mom holding Archer. So love my family. I just loved this big heart and the big title. So did you like this collection? The Stampin' Up! Love Story. The next prompt was a tough one. This one is a love letter to myself. And so the prompt was writing the love letter. So I put it in an 8.5 by 11 insert. So it go right in the middle. And then the paper for this one is Close to My Heart's I Think You Are Enough. And so it has all these fun rose gold accents on it. I just love that. And so Yeah, the letter was tough. I read it to my mom after I did it, and both of us cried. So it's amazing when you get to this age that you start um, knowing yourself a little better, right? And so you can look back and recognize the growth in your life. But I used shimmer brush or Winkostella on all the butterflies. And so pretty, love all the shine. But I just picked some pictures. This one is at the Stampin' Up! Home office. And then this one, of course, was at a Close to My Heart event. This one was a profile picture that Close to My Heart took for us. And then in my scrapbook room. So that was a fun one to do, even though it was tough. So have you ever written a love letter to yourself? You might try it sometime. Really takes some thought. The next one is one of my all-time favorites. So sorry about the glare on this one. We got a flip flap. Big story. So this one was Lucky and Blessed. So you could journal about anything in your life that you felt lucky and blessed about. And so I journaled about Jama and Aaron, that are team members on my Stampin' Up! Team. And so how those relationships came to be. They're the top 2 leaders on my Stampin' Up! Team now. And we lead our team, the 3 of us, all together. We do annual team retreats. I did the first year that we came over from Close to My Heart here in Texas. And then last year, Jama hosted in Colorado. And this year, Aaron's hosting our team retreat in California. And so these are just a few favorite pictures. This is a picture Chelsea, where Smarty got in at the Stampin' Up! Home office. But love these pictures of us. This was at a Close to My Heart Founders event. And like I said, there's a big story there. But this is at our Texas team retreat in 2024. So with our team shirts on. And this is at a Close to My Heart event. Jama and I think in Las Vegas, I think, if I remember right, did this on the Cricut, the title, and popped it up. So love that one. And then the next one is Home Sweet Home. And so Carrie and I are blessed enough to get to build a new home together in 2019. And so this is our front porch, our house in all the seasons. So I did it in winter with the snow, and in fall, and in spring. And then this is a summer one with the 4th of July decorations. And then with the fire in the fireplace. And then the story, our front flower beds. But that was a fun one. And this one is Close to My Heart collection called The Good Life. Used the mini alphabet dies for the title from Stampin' Up! So those are so fun to use. Love those. And I think they're retiring now, but they're a lot of fun. This one, the windmill, and the 2019 were from Close to My Heart. They had lots of those die cuts, like chipboard or paperboard, and still have quite a few of those. And then this one, the next one was called My Town, My Story. And so this was a fun prompt. And so do you know which Close to My Heart collection this one was? It's an oldie but goodie. So this was Sarsaparilla. Do you remember that? That takes me way back. So I live in Stephenville, Texas. So I cut that on the Cricut. The Cowboy Capital Walk of Fame is downtown near our town square. It's also, we have a 4-year A&M university here, Tarleton State University. And then the story, and this picture of our courthouse. And then we have a brand new football stadium as of last year. Just some fun pictures from around town. Larry Joe Taylor's Texas Music Fest happens here. So lots of fun things in Stephenville, but love this one. So have you documented where you live and done a layout about your town and told your story? For the next layout, our prompt was the places I've lived. And this one, got another flip flap here and an insert. So this one is with the Close to My Heart collection, Memory Lane again, I believe. And so I just cut out some of the little houses from the pattern paper and popped some up. Cut the title on the Cricut. And so I just found some pictures of the homes that I had lived in. I couldn't find them all, but some of the recent ones. And then this photo is me and my oldest son in our first home. Some journaling there and a flip flap. And then, like I said, I told the big story about all the different places we've lived and a list of everything I could remember with a timeline. And so if you haven't done a layout or documented all the homes that you've lived in your life, I challenge you to do so. This one was a fun one to do. After places I've lived, the prompt was fresh starts and new habits. And so I chose to tell the story about my fresh start with Stampin' Up. And so got a flip flap there. So this is a old photo of me and Jeanette Linton, the owner of Close to My Heart. And then a picture of me now with Sarah Douglas from Stampin' Up. And then a picture of both of the home offices. They're not very far apart in Utah. And a picture at a Close to My Heart event and a picture at a Stampin' Up event. So fun to compare and contrast, right? So it definitely was a fresh start. Like I said, I was with Close to My Heart for 26 years, and then now it's been 2 years with Stampin' Up. And 2 years ago, never could have imagined how things would be now. Everything is going really well, and Stampin' Up has really taken great care of us. So yeah, and this one was a Close to My Heart collection called In Full Bloom. So I love these colors, all the black and white and the black accents. So this was a fun collection. I still have quite a few of my Close to My Heart collections and still pull from them. So this project is a fun one because you can just use anything that you have in your stash, right, in your scrapbook room. All right, so this prompt was the day my story began. And so these are baby pictures of me. And this is a picture of my mom and I. And so that's in front of my grandparents' house. Fun to see those old cars. And so when I printed these, they are black and white, old photos. And my husband, first thing he said was, it looks like our grandbaby a little bit, like Archer. So that was fun. But those are pictures of me, and I think these are about the only pictures I have. I don't have very many childhood photos. So then a big story, and I'm very blessed that my mom's still around to ask all the details, and she remembers everything. So I was able to journal a lot of those fun facts. This one is Stampin' Up! Wildflower Birthday collection. So just love the pink check, right? Perfect for a baby girl page. All right. The last one I have ready to share with you all is my favorite daily ritual. And so my favorite daily ritual is getting in my craft room and creating every day. And so this was the Close to My Heart Craft On collection. And then if you remember these, this was a 5x7 insert card that came in our subscriptions for our scrapbook kits. So very fun. And then this is a photo of my closet. So that's why it's in the flip flap. It's all my Close to My Heart stamps and accessories and everything are in the closet, all stored in there. And then I've got my story here. So that flip flap will attach on the outside of the page protector. This photo is of my office, and so I have a separate office and craft room in this house. And so this is a small room right off the foyer of the house. And so I do my lives each week for my team and my customers from this room as their face forward lives. And so you see my ring light. Those are all my awards from close to my heart on this shelf here. Had that cabinetry built just for all of those awards there. So, and I love having fresh flowers on my desk, and my husband's very good at bringing flowers often. So I often have flowers on my desk. And then the title is on the Cricut. So cut that out. And this is photo of my scrapbook room, and this is where I'm sitting right now. And then you can see all of my cardstock and paper and my Versamats and my computer there. So it's a small room. It's just an extra bedroom, but try to keep it really organized. And yeah, so this is where all the magic happens, right? All the creating. And so I love to be in here. It's my happy place for sure. All right. So that is all of the layouts that I've completed so far. My travels this spring to the Caribbean. I went to Branson for a week, and then we just got back from the Alaska Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. Have put me a little behind. So I am ready to get started and get caught back up on my prompts, and I hope you'll join me. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a little encouragement. You don't have to have the perfect photos. You don't have to have the perfect products. You don't have to be caught up. You just have to start, right? Your story matters. The little moments, the everyday memories, the people you love, the places that feel like home, those are the stories worth preserving. If you'd like to follow along with the This Is My Story Challenge, I share a new storytelling prompt every Monday on my Facebook and Instagram pages. Whether you're creating scrapbook layouts, journaling, or simply reflecting on your own life story, I'd love to have you join us. And if you create something inspired by one of the prompts, be sure to share it using the hashtag ThisIsMyStory2026 so we can encourage one another and celebrate our stories together. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd love for you to subscribe and follow along as I continue sharing layouts, storytelling ideas, memory keeping inspiration, and a little behind the scenes look at life here in the Scrapbook Cowgirl studio. Thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. Until next time, keep telling your story because nobody can tell it quite like you can. Bye, friends.